Hey guys.
Hey everybody.
welcome in. Some tech issues before we came in tonight. We resolved those, and here we are. Welcome, BDF Keith. You're generally first, buddy. Thanks so much for being here and with your countdown. 135 days to that first Walt Disney World trip, and 136 days to your 60th birthday. So. We're excited for you on that. Kevin, Theme Park Adventures, welcome in. So good to see you. Captain Akron, thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Russ, good to see you. Is this the movie where Spidey loses his bus fare and gets lost on the subway? I think that's all of them except this one. That's all of them except this one, right? Let's see. Let me go back and catch.
Welcome in, Ryan, Captain Akron 27.
Welcome, and we're glad to see everybody tonight. I know we have some folks who have already texted me and let me know that they're going to be playing on the replay, or they're going to be watching us muted because they have not seen it yet. My question for you folks is why?
Yeah, what are you waiting on? You got to go watch it.
I know.
Of course, Jillian saw for the first time on Saturday, so
yeah.
I was there with them.
Yeah, I have seen it twice. Let's see who. Hey, welcome,
Daniel. In, Daniel, and
thanks so much for being here. Have you seen it, Daniel? If you have seen it, and if you folks in the chat have seen it, raise your hand. Stacy, that does not apply to you. You have an excuse from the Hitchhiking Bones, and it's a good one for having not seen it. I hope y'all can see it really soon. Anybody who hasn't seen this movie, by the way, it is that good. We're going to get into this. I know, Jillian, you saw it for the first time last night.
When was it? Sunday?
Oh, no, not last night.
Saturday or Sunday. Well, Will and I had been, in quarantine, and then it was really just me that was sick, and so we had to move a lot of stuff around, and then we had to find a babysitter for Wyatt, which is normally my parents, but they were like busy this weekend too, so we kind of whenever they were able, and then my mom and brother kind of took over Dad and Mommy's duties for a little bit. So we actually saw like an early morning movie, which is unusual for us. We normally don't go see movies in the morning, but we went in morning time, and it was a really great time to see it because there were, I don't know, maybe 4 other families in there.
Right.
So it was a great time to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Both times that I have seen it, times that I have seen it, the theater has been fairly full. And I saw it once at the matinee, which was around 1 or 2 o'clock. And then I saw it at like 7 p.m. One night, but it was a Wednesday night. And so, it was not too long after it came out. Movie Mania, Nick, I'm assuming that you have seen this movie. So, but anyway, welcome guys. Jillian decided to join us, I guess, tonight because, did you enjoy it, Jillian?
I did. I had kind of already seen some spoilers from like TikTok videos and stuff, so I wasn't like as surprised as a lot of people were, I guess, the first time they saw it. But I really did like it. I told Will, even though I'm not a huge, what's that first guy's name?
Toby Mcguire.
I'm not a huge Mcguire fan, and it's just him. I just don't like him as the actor, and I never have anything that he's in. But I still enjoyed watching all of them together.
Right.
It's interesting.
Right. Well, we're going to get into it. We've got some business to take care of before we do that. While William is kind of getting set up over there, I'm going to go ahead. Oh, that's okay.
We had a late dinner because I went to Target and did some shopping for Wyatt, and I got home late, and the animals are fighting. So, and I jumped in last minute, like he didn't know I was jumping in. So,
well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. Yeah. Oh, now come on. Russ. Yeah, no spoilers yet, Stacy. No spoilers yet. Stacy Rogers has to mute the stream. Once we start actually talking about it, she's gonna, because they haven't seen it yet. So, and so Stacy, I can't wait to talk to you. We're gonna have to clear our schedules to do it, because that's probably gonna be like a 3-hour, 4-hour phone conversation. So we'll have to, make time for that. You could pencil me in. But anyway, let's get into this, guys, because it's so good. Oh, hey, Dean.
Did you do this thing in history?
No.
There you go. Yeah, no, not yet. We're going to do that right quick, and then we're going to take care of a little extra magical mail that we got, and then we'll get right into this. This day in Disney history, 1987. Super Bowl 21 is played at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. The halftime show is a Disney production called Salute to Hollywood's 100th anniversary, featuring Southern California area high school drill teams and dancers. The New York Giants won over the Denver Broncos 39-20. 1993, Toontown continues its official grand opening festivities at Disneyland. On hand to take part in a parade and special events are Michael Eisner and celebrities, such as Robin Williams, Sally Fields, Dan Aykroyd, and Danny DeVito, Ted Danson, and Tom Selleck. Toontown will be dedicated the following day. I thought that was just really cool. That was in 93. So you were just a tot, William. When that happened, Toontown in Disneyland. 2002, Touchstone Pictures and Spyglass Entertainment released the adventure drama The Count of Monte Cristo. Now, Disney owns Touchstone, and I put this one in here simply because I wanted to give this movie a plug. It is not usually considered a Disney movie, but The Count of Monte Cristo, it's a really good movie, and I'm going to, like I said, wanted to give it a plug. This particular version stars Jim Caviezel, Guy Pearce, and Richard Harris. So just a little plug for the 2002 release of The Count of Monte Cristo, if you're familiar with that story. If you're not, it's a good movie. Jim Caviezel does a great job. So
yeah, Russ said the movie about the sandwich. Not quite.
2019, and this one's for you, William. 2019, Kingdom Hearts 3, an action role-playing game developed and published by Square Enix for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, is released. It is the 12th installment in the Kingdom Hearts series and serves as a conclusion of the Dark Seeker saga plot arc, beginning with the protagonist Sora. And they're joined by Donald Duck, Goofy, King Mickey, and Riku in their search for the 7 Guardians of Light.
Great game.
Yeah,
Will actually scored the Mickey Mouse Kingdom Hearts Christmas ornament from Hallmark this year.
I did. Welcome, Jonathan.
Jonathan, welcome.
Great series. It's really hard to keep. Honestly, I had before the third one came out, because it'd been years since the second one, and they released a bunch of games in between that were like on DS and then up systems. Mm-hmm. And so between 2 and 3, they released like a bunch of stuff in between and some prequel type material, and so it's really a lot to keep up with. And so I had to Google, a YouTube video for somebody that kind of weaved it all together. That way everybody was on the same page for the third one. But lots of different characters. Mm-hmm. Great game. I love how with every world that you visit, Sora, Goofy, and Donald's outfits change to match the surrounding. And so,
nice.
So, if they go to Pirates of the Caribbean, they're all dressed as pirates.
Oh, fun!
They had Toy Story Land in Kingdom Hearts 3, and they all look like toys.
Fun!
Really cool game.
That is cool. Hey, Amy, welcome.
But yeah, that was that was a game, a series that I loved for a long time, and so it's good to see them kind of put a bow on it finally.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I know that you played Kingdom Hearts. I am not much of a video game person. I just never really have been. But my boys, oh my gosh, my boys are all big, really big gamers. So I wanted to mention that Kingdom Hearts is a game with Disney characters, for those of you who are not familiar with it. Okay, guys, we got some amazing magic mail. And a lot of you are familiar with the whole Figment popcorn bucket, but they released at Epcot for the very first time. Figment is the mascot of Epcot. He's a purple dragon, and they released him as a popcorn bucket. And if you haven't seen it on social media, you've been under a rock, because it's been all over social media. People just kind of went nuts over this little popcorn bucket. And what's the highest I saw it selling on eBay for was like $320.
That's unreal.
That was the highest that I saw. It's people, the longest wait time line in Epcot to buy this popcorn bucket was 6 hours. I think, did anybody see a longer time? Now that has dwindled. Obviously they made a lot of these. They sold a lot of them. And I was helping Texas Takes, Ed and Heather at Texas Takes. Hey, Debbie, welcome in. Yeah, lots of money. Yeah, Daniel, I would not pay $320 for a Figment popcorn bucket, but as it turns out, guys, I didn't have to. Oh my gosh, would you look what came in the mail today? Oh my gosh,
that's so cool.
There he is. Ed and Heather at Texas Takes. I had, I'm trying to help Ed. That's what we do in this Disney community. Anything that advances the ball. I told him, to be able to live stream, and Ed and Heather are just a fantastic couple. Guys, they sent me this as a thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm a moderator for their channel, and oh my gosh, would you look at that? Is that just the cutest thing? Look at it. Oh my gosh. So cute.
Yeah, super cute.
So,
we've got our popcorn buckets up on top of the fridge.
Yeah.
It's really cute. You'll have to figure out somewhere to display them.
I will. The only other one that I have is the Millennium Falcon. And, I just about drove William crazy saying I want that popcorn bucket. How am I going to get my hands on that popcorn bucket? Oh my gosh, Stacy, $550. Oh my gosh.
That's wild.
So this is adorable. This is cute. The strap, even.
The strap's my favorite part.
Yeah.
The straps are always really pretty. If I can, show you, it has just it's upside down on that side. But anyway, I'll have to show you the other end. But anyway, and it does have the popcorn in here. Let me see if I can.
Did you get the colored popcorn?
I did not. They were offering the colored popcorn apparently at the outset, for the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they let's see, let me show you the popcorn.
You want to show the strap again? I got you in solo.
Oh yeah, okay. So here's the popcorn.
Nice.
And Heather put the popcorn in there, and so this is how it opens. And I hadn't really seen anybody open it yet. So he opens from the back.
I like his opening because most of the popcorn buckets we can't even put our hand in it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So they really are just for decoration.
Yeah. So, and he has the wings, and he's adorable.
Yeah.
And has his little ridges, and he's really cute. He's a good size popcorn bucket too. And let me show you the strap if I can get it over here.
There you go.
Yeah, there's the strap.
Oh, cute.
Is that adorable?
Cute.
So anyway, that's my popcorn bucket. Ed and Heather, I could not be more thrilled. I never dreamed that that I'd get one of these. So you're most welcome.
Yeah,
not necessary. Totally, not necessary. But William and I really appreciate this, and we may have to share custody. You can have him for.
I was going to say you earned it, so I don't know that I have any claim to it. So yeah, big shout out to Ed and Mindy. There they are. Yeah.
Yeah, Ed and Heather.
Sorry about
that. Ed. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thanks for stopping by. Ed, I left a message for you. I cannot tell you how excited I was when I got this in the mail. William had said that you mentioned it last week in the chat.
So yeah,
I missed it.
But I didn't. You showed the picture and everything, and I want to say he said something to the effect of, "I've got one with your name on it" or something. Yeah. Ed'd have to remind me what he said, but he said something like that. But I didn't like. I just let the comment go because I was like, I don't know, like he means like one of those popcorn buckets is for mom or what.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very cool. Fellow Texans there.
Yeah. Definitely. So I am thrilled with it, guys. I'm going to put him right here. I think. Can you see?
There you
go. I set him right there. I set him right here on me.
Be careful.
Up there so he doesn't fall off. So I'm just going to set him right there. But I hadn't. Oh, thanks, guys. Well, y'all are too.
Thank you,
Heather. Thank you. You made my day. I was kind of having a rough day, guys, and I'll just tell you that totally made my day. So I appreciate it. The other magic mail that we got is from the Mickey Bunch.
Cool.
And and thanks for the note, by the way.
Shout out to Kelly.
Nice. Shout out to Kelly and to the snow that's in Kelly's card. Yeah.
That's kind of her signature.
That's her thing, is to put, it's got
including a little bit of pixie dust inside the.
She does. It's definitely pixie dust. She says, "Happy New Year. Sorry my card is late, but if it wasn't late, then it just wouldn't be me." So, so thanks. Just got a nice dear Jeff, Will, and Jillian. Don, Jeff, Will, and Jillian. So thank you. So thanks for the snow there. If it's Arizona snow. And,
shout out to Kelly and James Ryan there.
Oh yeah, we appreciate that. And we've never had snow on the stream before, so that's a new thing. Thanks, Kelly and James. We love you guys. Okay, let's see. I think
there's already our moderator laying claim to the popcorn bucket if anything happens.
Okay. There's that's I cannot tell you. I never dreamed.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, none of us currently have a trip planned. Like date set or anything. So I mean, there's literally no chance like we would have had of getting it. So huge shout out to Texas Takes. Check them out if you hadn't already.
Oh yeah, Texas Takes. Yeah, could somebody drop Texas Takes link? One of our mods, please drop Texas Takes link. We appreciate that as one of our ghost hosts. But yeah, I'm just thrilled. Could not be more surprised and more thrilled. It was so thoughtful of them to do that. So thank you. I will enjoy him and just am. Oh, hey, this is our dream. And I know y'all were probably in on this. Jeff and Angela. We're talking about my Figment popcorn bucket, which I got in the mail from Texas Takes today. And I'm just letting everybody know how thrilled I am with that. I'll post a picture of him on Instagram with all the 150 million other people who have posted pictures on their Instagram. It's obligatory, and we need one out there. So I'll post it. We're going to talk, guys. We have been so blown away. And Stacy, you may want to mute us. But we're going to go into Spider-Man No Way Home. Guys, we have been so impressed with this movie that we thought we would just dedicate a whole stream to it.
Yeah.
I went into this movie.
Yeah, this is your warning again.
Yeah.
Spoilers past the point right here.
Okay. Yeah, leave us on, Stacy. We can use the view. Just mute us. You know, us YouTubers, we YouTubers are always, up for a view. But I went into this movie. I had not seen a trailer. I kind of pulled an Adam. Yeah, my younger son is big on. He likes to go into movies just totally flat-footed without having any idea. And so I had not seen a trailer on this. I had just neglected to. They're and again, gosh, I'm just so blown away with this popcorn bucket, guys. Russ, you probably would have gotten a call and a PayPal to go in and get me a popcorn bucket at some time. So you've and Heather took care of it for you. But Spider-Man No Way Home, this oh wow. And I realize this is a big statement because you guys know how much I love Marvel movies. This is maybe their best one. If it's not their best one, it's close. William and Julian, what did you think? What did y'all think about it? Overall.
Well, so I'm not big into the different universes like Will is. Will knows a lot more about the different universes than I do. So, but going into it though, I don't know. I watched many trailers though, even because I feel like
I got a popcorn bucket, Mikey. Sorry. I just came in. I'm excited about my popcorn bucket, Mikey. I've got my popcorn.
I feel like their trailers for this movie were a little bit like frozen. Like they were there, but you were like, what am I like? What is this trailer? But again, it took me a long time to even see it. So obviously some spoilers were put out on the internet.
Right.
And so I wasn't as surprised as Will was going into it.
Well, they definitely didn't pull off the Mandalorian treatment where, I'm not going to spoil that, but a substantial character shows up at some point in the Mandalorian. And literally until it happened, nobody knew. There were zero leaks. It was airtight.
Right.
And they went so far as to disguise this character in the script and to do like CGI work to make him look like someone else.
Yeah, that's true.
And so anyway, so some stuff had floated, kind of circulated around on the internet. So I knew that there was a good chance that the other two Spider-Men would show up at some point.
I was like thoroughly convinced that Andrew Garfield for sure would, but I wasn't sure about
Toby Mcguire.
Just because Toby Mcguire, it's been so long since those movies did come out. That in my opinion, Toby Mcguire is not my favorite. I didn't like those Spider-Man movies. I really did like Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man in those three, I think. But seeing them all together was actually super cool.
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh.
And I think Toby Mcguire has gotten better with age. I really do. I think he has really, I think he just looks like a really good Spider-Man now. I really do. So
I saw it too, William.
So yeah.
That's funny.
For me, just the whole thing, I would say, is a masterpiece. Just for the sole fact where, if you take a look at the Tobey Maguire trilogy, Sam Raimi wanted to make a fourth movie, but it didn't pan out, and they kind of jerked him around a little bit storyline wise because they wanted to fit Venom in, but he did not intend for Venom to be in that movie.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that went on in that series. There's a joke that's made in Spider-Man No Way Home where past Peter Parker, they're all Peter Parker. But there's a joke that's made in the movie where Tobey Mcguire has Andrew Garfield pop his back. He's like, I got a little bit of back. And it's kind of funny and kind of awkward if you don't know what the joke is, which I didn't know until after I'd seen it.
Yeah, go ahead and explain that. I knew there had to be more to that story.
So between Spider-Man,
Arlene, welcome.
With Tobey Mcguire and Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Mcguire, he filmed. Was it? I just blanked.
Seabiscuit. Yeah.
So he filmed Seabiscuit in between. If a regular person goes from never riding a horse to riding a horse all of a sudden, it's going to shock your body a little bit. So,
it does.
He came out and said, "I did not sustain an injury while filming Seabiscuit. I just a little bit of discomfort." And so between Spider-Man 1 and 2, he was dating Kirsten Dunst, who I think had like an uncle that's a big time lawyer or something. But they very briefly, Columbia Pictures very briefly considered recasting Tobey Maguire.
Thinking he had a legitimate back injury.
Yeah, they're like, okay, well, this is a very physical role. If you can't do it, then we're gonna have to pick somebody else. And apparently, Jake Gyllenhaal was up for the role, which obviously we know later on Jake Gyllenhaal is portraying Mysterio in No Way Home. But anyway,
we see you, Mcguire.
He had that back
practice,
and so they actually ended up making a joke in that movie where he has the web and he goes to shoot his web and it doesn't work, and so he falls down the alley and lands on top of a car and just says, my back. And so anyway,
which I love how they did the web shooters, because Will and I have talked a lot about how Tobey Maguire's portrayal of Spider-Man, where his web shooters are already there. Like he is not having to
inside him.
Yes.
That is a more true portrayal of Spider-Man. But as you move on to Andrew Garfield, you see that he has to make his own.
He invents his,
which still is the scientific aspect of Spider-Man. But we talked about the Tom Holland Spider-Man. We feel is more tech savvy than science savvy.
Okay, Russ.
But he also he did have Tony Stark making a lot of things for him as well. So we missed that aspect with Tom Holland that we got with Tobey Maguire.
Yes.
So, but I also feel it's the way the world has changed too. As we become more tech savvy, they portrayed his world tech savvy too. Yeah. So it did make sense with the progression, but I did like the web shooter jokes. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that too. And, and William knows that I'm very partial to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man because I think that, now let me preface this by saying that Stan Lee has actually said that Tom Holland is his favorite Spider-Man. Oh my gosh, he actually did say that. But Tobey Maguire is so close to the comic book, to Stan Lee's vision of Spider-Man. He's very nerdy. He just he hits all of the things that Stan Lee had in mind. He's awkward. He's socially awkward. He's, brain, obviously, which makes him even more socially awkward. So many things about Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker. Here's my thing. I think that Tobey Maguire is the best Peter Parker. He may not be the best Spider-Man, but he's definitely the best Peter Parker. Can I get an amen?
I can see that because I feel like I say Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man, but I never thought about him just being Peter Parker.
Right.
And he's an attractive man.
Yeah, I was about to say, Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland are both easier on the eyes.
They are.
Than Tobey Maguire is.
Yeah. But I love Tobey Maguire.
Yeah. Well, I do too, and that's the thing, the Tobey Maguire series is very special to me because it came before, Iron Man. And so, for me, I like superheroes and stuff and thought they were cool, but it wasn't until that first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire that I really got into superheroes and did a ton of research on Spider-Man and the villains that, all the villains he has and all the people that he's associated with. I did a deep dive on Marvel's website back in the day to learn as much as I could about Spider-Man. Obviously, some of that knowledge is gone now, but I mean, it just Spider-Man 1 and 2 with Toby Mcguire were just fantastic, and I loved them. Spider-Man 2 is even critically acclaimed by many to be one of the best superhero movies ever made.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
But anyway, I really enjoyed it. So the reason I say Spider-Man No Way Home is a masterpiece is because it redeemed the other Spider-Man series that we've seen up to this point. Spider-Man 3 ended on a rough note. The franchise kind of sputtered out with Tobey Maguire. They tried to do too much, and quite frankly,
they did.
Because of Spider-Man 3, I was super gun shy about the Avengers because I was like, how are they going to be able to juggle all these characters and make it work?
Right.
That's true. Like, Spider-Man 3 was such a catastrophe.
We talked about that at the time, William.
Yeah.
We discussed how they had too many characters in Spider-Man 3, and we were very critical. How are they going to give all of these characters their own legitimate screen time and backstory and develop a good story for each of them while still maintaining one movie in one movie. We felt like they were trying to do too much, and I agree 100%. They did not do a good job with that one. They did not.
Spider-Man 3, they just kind of fell, and the franchise fell off from that point, so much so that they ended up doing the reboot with Andrew Garfield, which the first one I thought, okay, this is pretty good. I was like, I'm not as big on it, but I thought it was pretty good. The second one, I just couldn't get over. I couldn't get over Electro and the way the way they ended up taking Jamie Foxx's character. And credit to Jamie Foxx for portraying the character how it was written, but you can tell that apparently I wasn't the only person that thought his character was really bad, because they basically cut ties with the way it was portrayed in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
So you like Jamie Foxx, though?
I like Jamie Foxx as an actor, but just the way his character was portrayed as kind of being this nerdy scientist guy that's kind of bumbling and everything.
Right.
Which again, Jamie Foxx does not look nerdy even a little bit.
Not remotely.
And he's really buff and in shape.
Yeah.
So when they brought him back for this one, I bumped Will and I said, "You don't like him." That's the first thing that came to my mind was I had to remind Will he didn't like him.
And so for me,
hey, welcome in, Garrett.
The fact that they kind of cut ties with how it was portrayed in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 points to we didn't do a great job.
Yeah, we blew it.
Instead, we're going to let Jamie Foxx do his thing, and it worked.
Right? Yes, it did. I would also like to say, and William knows this. Guys, we talk about this. We talk about these things so much that's why we started a YouTube channel. We figure if we're going to talk about it so much, we must as well have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But so William knows that I have always. It just has driven me crazy the way they kept messing with Spider-Man. I maybe need to learn to let go a little more. But I loved Toby Mcguire. I love the actress that they had playing Aunt May. I love the actor that they had playing Uncle Ben. I really enjoyed the Toby Mcguire Spider-Man, except for 3, but still, it was okay. So, and I did not like Andrew Garfield. I shouldn't say I didn't like him. He's my least favorite. Even now, he's still my least favorite. So I always had a problem with the Spider-Man movies because I felt like they just kept.
Well, continuity was the issue.
Yes,
we've been very fortunate in the MCU to have characters stay basically the same character the whole time,
which is what you want.
Yeah.
Well, I also realized that you have the issue of not being, I mean, people grow up, everybody doesn't look like a high school kid like Toby Mcguire when they're 30, I mean, I get that. I get the age, Spider-Man's a teenager.
Yeah.
So he's an adolescent.
Now, he
so,
does grow up at some point, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he does. So I get all that. I will just say this, guys. All is forgiven.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
After
absolutely.
seeing No Way Home, all is forgiven. They did that good a job on this movie. I was hoping that Adam, my youngest son, would join us because Spider-Man is his favorite character in the MCU. He is a Spider-Man walking encyclopedia.
Yeah.
He's taking a cinema appreciation as an elective in college right now. Bless his heart. I guess, it's a rough course, but somebody's got to take it. And he just wrote an essay on Spider-Man as one of his assignments. I'm hoping we can coax him on at some point because I really love his takes on, and some of my thoughts tonight that I relate to you are going to be some things that he pointed out to me.
Yeah.
At any rate, so I'd always had a problem with all these different Spider-Men, and the third Spider-Man was disjointed. They tried to put too many villains in it, blah blah blah. It's had its problems.
Yeah.
Universal owns the rights to Spider-Man, to Sony, so Universal has Spider-Man in their parks and some of the the whole.
Yeah, I was going to say that the theme parks have lay claim to
the theme parks lay claim to those. So Spider-Man has always just been tough. It's just, I will have to say, with No Way Home, guys, I'm not kidding. This movie is so good. All is forgiven.
Yeah. It's this type of situation is just incredibly rare to where you can have three different people play Spider-Man in my lifetime and bring them all into one movie and it works.
Yes.
But that's because of other characters that are in the movie. But
much like in Avengers.
Yeah.
Avengers, probably, I would have to go back and really think about this now that all the other movies have come out, but Avengers still remains one of my favorite in the MCU because they did such a great job. Okay, casting is like 80% of a movie to me, and that's one reason that the MCU has been so successful. I think it's a huge part of the reason they've been so successful is because their casting is spot on, with a few exceptions like Brie Larson. Nobody likes Brie Larson as Captain Marvel.
I even told Will the other day, I don't even like her car commercials.
Yeah, we don't even like her in the Nissan commercials.
She has zero expression on her face. And I told Will, what was it, last night? I said, she actually makes me not want to buy a Nissan ever. Like, she has that much power that she makes me actually sick when I see a Nissan because she's in those commercials and she's terrible.
Yeah.
So it has the exact opposite effect on you that a commercial is supposed to make you want to buy the product. So.
Yeah, the stark contrast of Matthew McConaughey and the Lincolns.
Like Matthew
McConaughey. Oh my gosh.
Commercials make me, I don't care if it's an old person car. I want to go buy all of them.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Jillian. I will race you to the Lincoln dealership.
But she just
turn off.
Yeah.
Like I told, so there's a guy that I work with who's super big.
I'll add to yours.
I know. There's a guy that I work with who's super big into Disney.
But you're a bad influence on me. Go ahead.
He has not dug into the Marvel universe yet, and he really wants to go to Disneyland. He actually has a vision problem, and so he wants to go see all these things before he loses his eyesight. And so he really wants to go to Disneyland. And he said, but in order to understand all that stuff, I'm going to have to watch these movies. So I went through the whole list with him, And I told him like how to watch them and what you need to watch, even the TV shows on Disney Plus. But I got to Captain Marvel and I said, you don't even need to watch that one. I said, it's terrible, it's horrible, and it actually makes me think Nick Fury is less cool to know a cat attacked him. So I was like, just ignore that whole movie. And he ended up watching it anyway, and he said, you were right. I don't know why I watched that movie. I said, I told you.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. If you were to just take Captain Marvel out of the mix, it doesn't do any violence to any of the storyline. It's just,
he didn't even really do anything.
I mean, not until basically they talk about Secret Wars with all of the man, I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. The Skrulls. And not until we get into Secret Wars with the Skrulls that is Captain Marvel really going to matter that much.
That's true. That's true.
But with Spider-Man, I dressed up as the Toby Mcguire Spider-Man for Halloween one year. Like, I convinced, the costume was a little on the pricey side, but I convinced Dad to get it just because I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that we got pictures somewhere.
Yeah, we do.
But
I wish I thought of it.
The part that makes me the happiest about Spider-Man No Way Home is that I think Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield can finally find closure with their characters.
I agree.
Because,
and us too, as fans.
Yeah, and us too, exactly, as fans.
That's deep, Will.
Yeah.
They brought it, guys. They brought it all together. They okay.
Because no franchise ended abruptly.
It did, and so
Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man.
With this movie, they have just absolutely done. No, it wasn't. It's hey, we're just keeping it real, Jeff. I really, they just did a beautiful job of bringing all this together and tying a huge mess in the minds of the fans.
Yeah.
With the best bow ever. They brought to guys, in case you haven't, figured it out. Again, spoiler alert. They bring all three Spider-Men together in this movie.
Yeah.
They come from their different universes in the multiverse. Thank you, Doctor Strange.
Yep.
Doctor Strange. Huge shout out to Doctor Strange. He's a big part of this movie, which again thrilled us.
Weird, but I'll allow it.
Sir.
Exactly. That's really weird, but I'll allow it.
But yeah, it's very cool. I like the way
I would be fine with that, Jonathan.
The movie picks up immediately from Far From Home. Everybody figures out Spider-Man's identity. Mysterio gets the video to J. Jonah Jameson at the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
Web stream or whatever, web channel.
Right.
And it's funny because when it first shows J. Jonah Jameson, he's just like, looks like he's filming at home and has like a green screen behind him.
Yeah.
And the next time you see him, he's in like a legit studio and has
it's like he's a YouTuber, right?
He got famous all of a sudden.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Okay. And J. Jonah Jameson, who plays Jameson?
You're killing me. He also plays the mayor in Zootopia.
He does. And
he's a legend.
His voice is extremely recognizable, but he does. What is his name? Adam and I were talking about him earlier, and I can't find
J.K. Simmons. Duh.
Yes, J.K. Simmons. He is an actor who has the voice. He has the mannerisms. This is typecasting. He is set up to play, Peter's boss. He really is in this.
Oh yeah.
He's very good. But okay, question.
Welcome in, Jane and Travels.
What? Oh, hey, Jane. Oh, hey, John, Nancy. Welcome. Thanks so much for being here.
Well, he also played, again, continuity wise, he also played J. Jonah Jameson in Toby Maguire's Spider-Man.
He did, and just did a beautiful job. Okay, question. Now, again, I went in without seeing any spoilers. At what point in the movie did the light bulb come on for y'all and you realized you were going to get to see the other Spider-Man?
Well, I mean,
I already knew.
Well, Jillian already knew.
Okay, Jillian, I did not.
Because of the leaks, I thought, okay, we're probably getting all 3 Spider-Man. And the thing is, I knew once Doctor Strange was in the movie, pretty much anything was possible.
Russ is killing me. Russ said, let's see, hang on. Yeah, that feels weird, but I'll allow it. Let's see, where is Russ's comments? Russ said, Spider-Man Home Alone coming out this coming next Christmas. And the Western version, Spider-Man Home on the Range.
But
I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I knew between the leaks and the fact that Doctor Strange was in it, I mean, since we've opened Pandora's box of the multiverse, they can do whatever they want. We could easily see Sam Wilson fighting right alongside Steve Rogers, both as in their prime Captain America.
That's true.
You can do whatever you want now.
But
that's true.
We've talked about how they killed, spoiler again, in case you haven't seen the Avengers movies, but how they killed off some of these characters. But we've talked about in 5-10 years' time, if they want to bring back whoever as Iron Man, they can do that. Like, they've opened up a whole snowstorm of stuff that, I mean, I don't know.
A lot, Loki and Sylvie.
Well, Loki's my boyfriend, and even Wyatt knows it.
Loki. Oh,
Wyatt has an Avengers book, and he'll say, "Mommy, is that your boyfriend Loki?"
Oh, that's funny.
Even Wyatt knows.
Yes.
Loki. And I'm really thrilled that we're going to get to see, get to see more Loki, because I really enjoyed Loki. I love time travel. I love time travel. And the existence of the different timelines that, again, if you haven't watched, Loki on Disney Plus, by all means, go back and watch it, because the pieces that they introduce in that series are going to be critical in the next chapters, the next phases of the MCU. So by all means,
that's the first point when I told Will they're about to bring back like lots of people. That's when I
that's exactly what you said.
Like, I really was like, they're about to just bring back all these Spider-Men, aren't they? Now, did I know it was going to be the same actors? No, but I thought then that they were going to bring them back. That's the first time I was like, he just opened up all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, my nose is itching.
The chemistry between the 3 of them was so good, though. It was like they were perfectly in sync with being Spider-Man. And that chemistry for this movie is just as important as his chemistry with MJ or his chemistry with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Right.
That, to me, was super important for all of them to be able to work together and get along.
Yes. Well, this movie, when I first realized, again, I had not seen any trailers at all. I knew nothing about this movie going in, zero. When I first realized, was it Doc-Ock who first said, "You're not Spider-Man"?
Yeah.
Which villain was it? He said, "You're not Spider-Man."
The bridge.
And my brain just went nuts. And the light bulb, and I thought, oh my gosh.
Well,
because
whenever Doctor Strange is passing the thing, he says, he specifically tells him, he says, everybody that knows that Peter Parker Spider-Man is now here. And so, whenever he showed up on screen, like, I mean, immediately, like, time travel for me back to my childhood, because I love Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 so much.
Yeah.
And it's just the coolest thing ever. Whenever I saw him in the trailer, I was like, okay, if Doc-Ock's in it, there's a darn good chance that the other 2 Spider-Mans are indeed in this movie.
Yes. Yeah. So when MJ and Ned open the portal and they see this Spider-Man coming towards them, guys, I freaked out. I absolutely freaked out because I thought, okay, is this going to be Andrew Garfield or Toby Mcguire?
Yeah.
I knew that it was not going to be Tom Holland.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting. It was Andrew Garfield who was the first one to come through the portal. I thought it was going to be, so I knew they were going to be in it, but I thought for sure Toby Mcguire was going to be the first one.
First, right.
But they just did Andrew Garfield first, and then I was blown away by that because I was like, I really expected Toby Mcguire, not Andrew Garfield.
Right.
So
I wasn't sure who I was kind of like you with Jillian. I kind of expected it to be Toby Mcguire, but when Andrew Garfield came through, and I've told you before, Texarkana Theater Cinemark has fantastic audiences, and I end up at a lot of the nerd showings where there are, other people in the theater, obviously, that that love Star Wars or whatever it is we're seeing. And it was a lot of fun because we were all just freaking out. I mean, everybody's, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This movie is full of, oh my goodness, what are they going to give us next?
Yeah.
I mean, you're just waiting for the next shoe to drop. And every shoe is fantastic. I loved the dialogue and the interaction and the camaraderie and the brotherhood, of the Spider-Man and them getting to know each other. When was it Andrew Garfield who said, "Oh my gosh, that just came from your body, the
Yeah.
web." And I said, "This, William, I've mentioned this before as one problem that I have with the other two. I want it to be like Toby Mcguire. I want him to be, his body for his body to produce the web." And he said, "Oh my gosh, did that just come for your body?" And the Toby Mcguire fan in me said, "Yeah, it did." Nah.
Yeah.
Which
So the dialogue was great.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
So I'm gonna.
Oh my gosh, Russ.
I thought that conversation between the three was super funny, and I think that the other two movies with Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland, do the whole web fluid thing, and I'm like, okay, like I know that's a thing with Spider-Man, but I always thought it was cool that they included that as one of his powers, for Toby Mcguire.
Yeah.
One thing I want to mention with the interaction between the three. Is I cannot believe they successfully pulled this off twice. But let me add in this extra cam here. Hold on.
Okay.
They successfully pulled off this. Here, let me see if I can get edit stream here. They successfully pulled off this meme twice in the movie. So this meme has circulated for a long time now, and people put different stuff, like two things that are like each other, and they'll put them over them. Like the LA Dodgers and the Texas Rangers both lost back-to-back World Series,
right.
And so they put the Dodgers logo and the Texas Rangers logo with them pointing at each other, like, hey, we're the same thing.
Right.
But I cannot believe they pulled it off twice. So the scene where Ned says Peter, like, hey, Peter. And then they all kind of, they all kind of look at each other and they all kind of point a little bit. And they try to keep it very subtle. But they nailed the meme. And then they also do it again where they're all ganged up talking to each other, like Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3.
Yeah.
And so it's very subtle. They don't raise their hands up to the full on point.
Right.
Their hand up just a little and point to each other.
And I think that they numbered each other wrong too.
But I had to mention that just because it's so funny.
Yeah. They did. And Russ brings up too the fact that Matt Murdock, oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh my God. It just, guys, this movie, again, all of the things that I have said and all of the hate that I have spewed on the Spider-Man movies for messing with this character, all is forgiven.
Yeah.
You are back in my good graces. This movie is so good. I'm really anxious. In the chat, guys, did y'all like it? If you have seen it, please put in the chat Scale of 1 to 10. We should have done a poll, right? We should have done a poll in this chat, but I may put that on our community tab and see.
I can throw them together real quick. I'm gonna
throw a poll in.
Let's see. Who is your favorite?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the fact that Matt Murdock shows up now, I will have to say, I think there were some people in my theater who did not know who he was as when he came in as the lawyer. There were people who had no clue who he was, and even after he reveals that he is Daredevil, a lot of them still didn't know who he was. So
they never actually said it.
No,
it's like, I'm a very good lawyer.
And it was so great. I mean, it was just, you're right. In my theater, that was a long fly ball. A lot of people didn't know who he was. A Movie Mania Nick gives it a 9. Scale of 1 to 10. 9 out of 10, Russ. 9 out of 10. I totally agree. 8.5 from Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm not hard to please. I love Spider-Man. It was a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, it was a 10 out of 10 for me.
And so one thing I did want to mention about this movie was,
Tom Holland's winning.
The only so I put the poll up so you could pick either Toby Mcguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, or all three.
Okay, vote in our poll, guys. The poll went up. So vote for your favorite Spider-Man.
So one thing I wanted to mention is the only mention of Uncle Ben in Tom Holland's Spider-Man is whenever he uses a suitcase with Uncle Ben's initials on it.
True.
So
this has really bothered Will.
It's bothered me a lot because this is a big spoiler. So if you don't want to hear this, you gotta or put us on mute. Okay. So
okay. If you gotta mute us, when it's time to come back, I'll do this.
Okay, well,
so you gotta mute us.
We'll just come back. So, okay, again, we're about to go with a major spoiler here. Aunt May dies. In this movie.
Yeah.
And she's buried in a single tombstone, tombstone grave.
Right.
Not a double one like most married couples are. And so anyway, I was just puzzled by that. And granted, not all married couples are buried in a double headstone grave, but that bothered me because I knew supposedly Uncle Ben existed at some point because they put his initials on the suitcase. So I'm guessing that Uncle Ben may have died maybe way before Peter ever came into the picture.
Right.
But my guess.
Yeah. I felt like
because they never acknowledged
him. They never mentioned him at all, really.
And even when the other Spider-Men are talking about their Uncle Ben, that
he didn't say anything.
He doesn't say anything about this.
Yes.
But I also thought maybe
this is Nick makes an excellent point here.
I thought maybe possibly in this universe, Uncle Ben may not have ever been there, and they just put his name on a suitcase just as a hidden Mickey Easter egg thing. Because to me, I don't.
I'm sorry, Garrett.
No.
I think we just blew one for Garrett.
We warned you.
We warned you, Garrett. I said I would do this. Okay.
Oh no. So anyway.
Sorry, Garrett.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
But she is the best looking Aunt May, but I don't think Aunt May's supposed to look like that.
Well, and this is another complaint that I had. William also knows that I did not like Marissa Tomei. She was okay.
Well, you didn't like Sally Field as Aunt May either.
No, I didn't like Sally Field as Aunt May. I did not. To me, the first lady who played Aunt May in the original Spider-Man was more in line with the comic book Aunt May. And so when they stuck in the younger versions, especially
Rosemary Harris. What's her name?
Who?
Rosemary Harris was her name.
Rosemary Harris. Okay, Rosemary Harris was Aunt May to me. And I will have to say, I could spoil away. Okay. Well, it's also in the description of the video, Garrett. So, what else can we do? We have been honest with our viewers. We try to keep it real. But yeah. And what really, I'll just be honest with you. When Iron Man flirts with Aunt May or says something about, when I just about freaked out. I thought this is not right. That ain't right. That ain't right, y'all. To have, no.
I did really like to see her chemistry with Tom Holland on screen, though. I thought they were really good together. But she's too hot to be an Aunt May.
She is.
She's way too hot.
She totally is. You have to suspend your disbelief in order to, it's suspension of disbelief is called for with Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. And that's just the truth, that's, I don't care who you are. So
Will thought they were going to kill off Happy, though.
I was worried.
Will thought they're going to be Happy or Aunt May.
I was like, if they're about to kill Happy, they're just going to go ahead and like we saw. And again, spoilers if you hadn't seen Endgame, but just so I don't ruin anyone else's night. So Tony Stark, has died, and so that kind of leaves Happy kind of floating. I mean, he's running Stark Industries, but
right.
I was wondering. I was like, what are they going to do with it?
But like I told you, they could always open up a universe or whatever where he comes back, and then there's Happy. So I mean, we don't really know. I said Happy could have a purpose.
That's true.
So Russ makes a great point that each of the Spider-Men have their Uncle Ben moment. With great power comes great responsibility.
I do.
So he makes a great point that they all have that moment.
I will say, Garrett, I'm with you there. But.
So I want to give credit to whoever. I want to give credit to somebody. One of the villains. I was very excited to see Alfred Molina play Doc Ock.
Oh yes.
So I was fired up about that, but I was wondering. So there are all these leaks. Like, okay, we're going to bring all these villains into the movie. And so I was wondering which Green Goblin we were going to get, whether it was the Amazing Spider-Man, Goblin,
right,
or if we were going to get Willem Dafoe. And let me tell you what, I could not have been more pleased that Willem Dafoe ended up in this movie. And also credit to the team that put it together, because
Russ, sorry,
Willem Dafoe did not want to come back and play the Green Goblin unless he was going to get physical. So shout out to him. Willem Dafoe he's not a spring chicken. Look,
he's such a good Green Goblin, though. I feel like he looks like Green Goblin, and he totally fits the part.
Willem Dafoe is 66 years old, and he didn't want to come back and play Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin.
Oh my gosh!
Unless he played a physical role. Just because he said, I don't feel like I would have earned it.
Okay. Question: is there any actor on the planet who could play Green Goblin as well as Willem Dafoe?
No.
I challenge you to suggest any actor on the planet. The voice, the look.
Yeah, just everything. Look at his pictures. He looks like it.
He's fantastic as Green Goblin.
People have tried to link him to Joker for years now. Like you can Google it right now, Willem Dafoe Joker, and there's people that have put the Joker face paint onto Willem Dafoe, and it looks awesome.
Wow! Yeah.
But yes,
he's got that villainous looking face.
Oh, and that voice. Oh, and that laugh. Oh my gosh!
The laugh.
Willem Dafoe, we love you. We love you, man.
When I saw in the trailer the pumpkin bomb come and land in the screen, I was like, all right.
I know, right?
So I'm super fired up about it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have been more pleased. I credit him for wanting to come back, and not just for a little role either.
Yeah. And man, did he ever hit a home run with this movie? I was so thrilled. Thank you to Willem Dafoe if you're watching, and I know you probably are because you've heard of our our fame, our reputation precedes us. Kudos for that role. Thank you for doing such a fantastic job and delivering to us, the fans, such an amazing depiction.
I mean, he's the Green Goblin. Every superhero has their villain. And so for him to have stepped out from the bunch and been the one that makes everything hit the fan.
That's true. That's true.
It had to have been him. I knew. So
I did too. I suspected that he would be the one.
He's so expressive. And so for them to break his helmet, I was like, okay, we got to see him on the glider.
Hey, Annie, welcome in.
I've got a little bit of like there's my nostalgia kick there.
Right.
And then he smashes the helmet. But the thing is,
he doesn't need it.
He does such a great job of conveying emotion.
Yeah.
And he's such a great actor that he doesn't need it.
The way he opens up his mouth is so freaky because, like, I have a big mouth and I can't even do that. I feel like it was just one of those. He was made to look like the Green Goblin and he was made to play the Green Goblin.
He is. I can't think of any other actor on the planet who could play Green Goblin as well. He did a. Okay. Well, I'm glad. I appreciate that.
Thanks,
That's
Garrett.
good.
But I was fired up to see him in it. I liked I liked seeing the other villains in this movie as well.
I feel like we didn't get a lot of Lizard Man guy thing.
I don't feel like he needed that much of Dr. Connors.
Yeah, he was the only one I feel like we didn't get a lot of. The other ones I feel like had their moment to come back and say bye to their characters.
Yeah, that's true. I'll tell you, since we got Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe, they're my favorite. Thus far, villains that they've introduced. Yes, it is Russ. Oh, Elena, aloha. Let's see the video.
And also too, just as a reminder for how awesome the Toby Mcguire Spider-Man 2 was, the arms that Alfred Molina has, those were puppets. Those were not CGI. So in the new movie, they're CGI. But in the old movie, they're puppets. I mean, granted,
really?
I think they had to do some CGI work on them. But they were practical puppets.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can Google videos on it. It's pretty cool.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, the setup on this movie, William, why don't you cover that? We probably should have done this at the beginning instead of now, but cover the setup on this and how we, set this movie up for us, please.
So we picked up right away from Far From Home. Spider-Man just finished fighting Mysterio. Mm-hmm. MJ knows, MJ Zendaya's character, which has grown on me exponentially since the first movie.
Yes, I agree.
I don't like Zendaya, and I never have, from her little Disney Channel acting career to now. And Will knows how I feel about The Greatest Showman, and she's in it, and I don't like that either. But I will tell you, because I'm going to hop off really soon, Tom Holland and Zendaya are so cute. It actually physically hurts my heart. They're so cute. And they're cute in real life, just being them, and on this show, it's literally adorable. And when they do interviews together, it just my heart bursts because they're so cute. And I hope that it actually is one of those things that lasts and they're not just in love because of their characters, but they are, to me, they have some of the best chemistry, because I did not like Andrew Garfield and
you didn't like Kirsten Dunst or Emma Stone.
I don't really like Emma Stone, period. But her and Andrew Garfield, I felt didn't have any chemistry. Yeah. I didn't see it.
Right.
I don't really like Kirsten Dunst either, but I think it's because I'm a 90s kid, and anything I've ever seen her in, from the 90s, hasn't really been that serious. But I also think she looks a lot older at that time than Toby Mcguire did too. But
Yeah. See, I was okay with her as MJ. I liked her okay as MJ, but Gwen Stacy, who was the little actress that played Gwen Stacy?
Emma Stone.
Which I love her as Cruella, but I did not like her as Gwen Stacy.
That's right, Emma Stone. Okay, yeah, come on, Dawn. Yeah, Emma Stone was okay. Yeah, see, I
love Cruella.
Oh yeah, Jillian, big time. She could probably do a stream on Cruella by herself.
You should.
I'm Cruella.
I love that movie.
You should do that. Convince me, Jillian. Yeah. I liked it.
I'll do a stream on Cruella and Encanto because Encanto, and I'm going to say this before I get off because it's going to stun everyone. If I could only listen to 2 Disney soundtracks for the rest of my life, it would be Pocahontas and Encanto.
Wow. Wow.
I'm so upset. I spent like $100 on the Disney store today buying Encanto stuff. And it's probably for me, not for Wyatt. I'm so upset.
So you're just confessing. It's just
yes. So I could do a stream on Cruella and Encanto, and I could probably talk for hours about both.
Yeah. Okay, and Jillian, it's confession time for me. My granddaughters were here last weekend, I guess it was. And so I got to see pieces of Encanto. I have not sat down to watch the whole thing. So,
you should.
Yeah, I did want to mention that on your recommendation, I watched The Emperor's New Groove. I realize I'm chasing a rabbit here. Guys, I loved Emperor's New Groove. I thought
was that your first time seeing it?
It was. What the heck? It was.
That's so good.
It is so funny. If you guys haven't seen The Emperor's New Groove, go to Disney Plus right now. Drop what you're doing and run. Do not walk to watch the Emperor's New Groove.
This so you can keep up with it.
So
exactly.
Good.
Yeah, it is.
Booms, baby. That's what Will says to me all the time.
It is so much fun. Anyway,
thank you for that. The voice actors are so good.
Well, and I'm gonna have to watch it again because it's slapstick. I mean, it happens that fast. Hilarious, guys. I was laughing out loud so much that Adam came out of his room and said, "Mom, what are you watching?"
Which he was probably like, "Oh yeah, I've seen this movie like 100 times."
Yeah. And Jonathan, you are 100% right. Garfield got his moment saving MJ. That was so touching.
That had me like. I said, "Did you cry the first time you saw that?" But I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. So touching. I'll have to admit, when again, spoiler alert, guys.
Yeah.
I thought when the Green Goblin stabbed Toby Mcguire's Spider-Man that he was dead. I was scared to death that they were going to kill off Toby Mcguire's Spider-Man.
That was a gut punch for me, and I was oh no! Like, I was like, are they seriously going to do me like this? Like, and part of me too was like, okay, he's a superhero. Like, he got stabbed in the back. He's probably okay. It's not full blown goblin blade this time. It's just
right.
Well, they stabbed me in my love heart in the back at the very end. And that's when I said, I don't like this movie anymore because now MJ does not remember Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and it makes me really sad. So they might as well just have let her fall and hit her head, in my opinion. It makes me very sad.
Yeah.
It hurt me really bad.
Yeah. So the end of the movie's tough. I mean, Tom Holland Spider-Man, you want to talk about trauma? You want to talk about a tough road? Yeah,
like a big therapist.
Yeah. It is.
Oh, which superhero is it? Is it Tony that's laying down and he's talking to? He's laying down and talking to Bruce Banner in one of like the end credit scenes, and he's like talking through some of this.
Yeah.
I forgot.
And Bruce Banner falls asleep and informs him that he's not that kind of doctor. So yeah, he needs a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Funny stuff.
I mean, goodness gracious, he loses Tony. Just all the stuff he's dealt with.
You noticed too, I don't know if anyone noticed this, but in the box of stuff he was moving into his apartment, he has a book on the GED, taking the GED test.
He does. I caught that, Jillian.
He loses his school too. The teachers that he had, the kids at school, whether they liked him or not,
every relationship, every
single thing that he knows is gone like that.
Yeah.
Even to the point
it's a total reset.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a total reset. William, you started to set up the movie, and I think I chased a rabbit or something.
Yeah.
But go ahead and give us a kind of a summary.
Quick overview.
I'm gonna head out though.
Oh, okay, Julie. Thanks for coming in.
And like his here is hurting. So
okay.
Thanks. I just liked Spider-Man as an objective third party here, so I wanted to hop in.
Thanks for.
I even got my Spider-Man blanket that I stole from my 3-year-old.
Thanks for popping in. We appreciate it. Your 3-year-old has enough Spidey merch to fill up the whole background. So.
Anyway, so quick run through the movie, major plot scenes. So we start off the movie, picks up immediately from Far From Home. They figure out Spider-Man's identity. J. Jonah Jameson leaks it.
Yes.
He got the video from Mysterio, Quentin Beck. So that's
So he's accused of killing Mysterio. Yeah.
So obviously there are people, just like with the news, it's all polarizing, and so there are people that take Mysterio's side and think Spider-Man's a murderer. Other people are like, Spider-Man's a hero. So anyway,
don't let us forget Russ.
Oh yeah. Let us, that too. Russ, also the Black Cat Easter egg. Let us know what that was.
Don't let us forget that either. Yeah.
But so it starts off, Peter.
If I got the Black Cat reference, I don't remember it. Russ, you're gonna have to remind me. So help us out here, keep us on track.
But everybody figures out Peter's identity. Then he gets into kind of legal trouble, gets picked up by the law. He gets back to, gets back to their apartment, him and Aunt May's apartment. Happy's there, and the news is on, and there's helicopters outside. And anyway, so they get picked up, and also Stark Industries gets investigated.
Yeah. So it's basically just ruining their lives. Even MJ and Ned can't get into colleges because of their association with Peter Parker, who is now been outed as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So it's his life has just been blown up, and he makes a decision.
Yeah. So, which
I loved,
which was really funny. But anyway, so life gets turned upside down. So he's sitting here.
He's trying to put the genie back in the bottle.
Yeah, he's trying to put the genie back in the bottle. He's sitting here looking at this strand of lights, which is a vampire, but he's got a little cape on, has a goatee. And so it reminds him of Doctor Strange, which, so he goes and seeks out Doctor Strange at the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Does.
And anyway,
Doctor Strange, we haven't even really mentioned him a lot. He's a big part of this movie. So go ahead.
Wong is Sorcerer Supreme because Doctor Strange got blipped.
Yes.
He disappeared for 5 years.
Yes. Which I'm not happy with, by the way.
Yeah.
Just for the record.
So, he got snapped away by Thanos, if you see the Infinity War. Anyway, so Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme, and he's like, I don't think we, basically, Peter Parker wants to, set his life back to normal. He wants people to forget that he's Spider-Man. And so he goes to Doctor Strange. It's like, hey, and Doctor Strange's like, okay, we've been through a lot. I can do this for you. Wong's like, we shouldn't tamper with time. But then Doctor Strange is like, hey, you remember this party? And and Wong's like, no. He's like, exactly. We've done it for a lot less.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
they have to go into this crypt in the Sanctum Sanctorum and put together a spell that makes everybody forget that Peter Parker's Spider-Man.
Right.
So at first, Doctor Strange like starts up the spell,
Doing
and
his thing.
Peter just keeps badgering him about, oh, well, wait a second. I need Ned to remember that I'm Spider-Man.
Right. And
Like,
I need MJ to remember that I'm
MJ,
Spider-Man. And, you know, so he keeps kind
Happy.
of changing the spell in midstream.
He changes it 6 times. And
Yeah.
anyway, it gets messed up, and you can tell that things are not going good. And Doctor Strange contains the spell. And he's like, you messed with my spell 6 times. It didn't work. So I had to contain it. So he contains the spell to where everybody forgets who Spider-Man is. Anyway, so they have to come up with an alternate course of action, which one of the funniest parts of this whole movie is whenever Doctor Strange asked Peter, he's like, well, did you reach out to like admissions to plead your case?
Because he's been, you know, MIT has rejected his application. He wants to go to MIT.
Yeah.
And so MIT rejected him, MJ, and Ned.
Yeah.
And so this is his big problem.
Due to recent controversy. And so anyway, instead of
right, Russ.
You know, reaching out to admissions and pleading their case, Peter decides to go to Doctor Strange and change the fabric of time to make people forget he's Spider-Man. But anyway, so they end up going alternate course of action, and in the process, while the spell was being cast, some people came over, and sure enough, we get all these villains that are introduced one by one, starting with Dr. Octopus.
Oh, hey, Dave.
Hey, welcome in, Dave. Starting with Dr. Octopus, and then we also see Green Goblin. And so there's a pretty good fight between Spider-Man and Doc Ock before they're both kind of sucked into one of Doctor Strange's portals before the Goblin goes up.
Just for the record, guys, this is an action movie. There is a lot to this movie. So go in with your game face on and don't miss anything.
Yeah.
Do not go to the bathroom. If you have to forego the Coke, do not go to the bathroom, because if you do, you'll miss something. That's how fast this movie goes.
So anyway, I think that one of the funniest twists in my mind, you know, and this is again spoilers, but you know, Dr. Octopus pulls like the nano technology off of Peter's suit.
It does.
And like sucks it onto his tentacles.
Right, which is like, oh my gosh.
And we're like, oh no, like we've got like Iron Man Dr. Octopus basically now.
Right.
And anyway, it's the funniest twist ever. Whenever Peter is able to, like, his technology is able to detect Dr. Octopus's tentacles as another device, and he's able to walk up and take control. And so he's like playing puppet, like puppeteer with Dr. Octopus's tentacles.
Yeah, which I'm thinking this is brilliant.
That was a great twist.
This is brilliant
twist. So anyway, the reason he's out on the bridge is because they're trying to save the MIT admissions lady. They end up saving her. She says, "Thank you. We're going to consider you and your friends." And then the Goblin shows up.
Yeah.
And that's when they get sucked into the portal. Doc Ock gets put into one of these like chambers. You can't walk through it. It's got like some sort of force field up.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much.
So basically, Doctor Strange tells Peter, "We have to go get all of these people who don't belong here and put them back in their own timeline." So that's why they're trying to round up all of the people who came through.
Yeah.
And so you're sitting there thinking, okay, if the villains came through,
then
the Spider-Man from that time. So and they show it's later, it's a little bit later, but they do show up, and it's one of the greatest parts of this movie is that they reunite.
Fast forwarding, we end up with kind of a instead of a Sinister Six, we end up with kind of a, I guess, fearsome five maybe, to come up with some other terminology. But we end up with Doc Ock is the first villain we see. We see Green Goblin. We get. Actually, Doctor Strange ends up trapping the lizard. And so we see the lizard as number 3. And then we get Sandman and Electro. And so all of them make an appearance, and Doctor Strange tasks Peter with going and using this little gauntlet thing to basically tag them, and they get teleported back to these chambers at the crypt at the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Right.
So anyway, fast forwarding, lots of great action in between, but Spider-Man and Ned and MJ, all Spider-Man Peter works with Ned and MJ virtually to pull them all in. And they all finally get there, and Doctor Strange has contained the spell inside of this box. And there's a big button on top, and he basically says, when I hit this button, it's going to reset the spell. These guys are going to get sent back to their timelines, and they're going to die. Oh, and also, my bad. Also, Green Goblin. I already mentioned.
And they realize, okay, in their timelines, they are all killed by their respective Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and so Tom Holland's Spider-Man, goes all warm and fuzzy and says, well, we can't send him back to die.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange, and at this point, obviously we know that's not what's going to happen because we're going to have the movie. But at this point, I'm going, just listen to Doctor Strange. He's right. Just listen to the man. This is their fate, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so all of the chaos really, they double down on the chaos when Tom Holland's Spider-Man makes the decision to not send them back, to try and rehabilitate them. To go back and fix what makes them criminal masterminds so that they aren't killed. And by this time we have Toby Mcguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and they all team up in this lab to try and fix these villains. Guys, this story is so ridiculously good. I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed this movie. I've seen it twice already. I think I'm going to try to go back to the theater at least one more time and see it.
So all the bad guys are in the chambers, and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange get into it, and there's a great fight scene between the two. And
Will Garrett, like Doc Ock finds out that he actually dies. He's killed, or he, when the thing collapses,
the machine falls off into the water.
Right, and then Amy, thanks. And then Green Goblin, is killed. He gets stabbed by his own, glider, and so they die. That's, in their own timelines, they die. And, Tom Holland's Spider-Man is going, but we can't let them die. Because we know they're going to die. We can't send them back in this shape. And, there's this whole scene where Doctor Strange is trying to get the spell, which he's encapsulated in this little, whatever it is, this holder thing, box, the box, and they fight over it, because Tom Holland Spider-Man is saying we can't send him back. Dr. Strange is saying we have to send him back to straighten all this mess out that you created, by the way. And so there's a battle. There's a really cool battle that goes on there
in the mirror dimension.
in the mirror dimension, which is just ridiculously good visual. Visually, the fight that they have in the mirror dimension
it's epic.
Yeah, it really is. It's epic, and it's something that you have to really pay attention to. I recommend going to see this movie in 3D if you can, because it's just fantastic in 3D.
So Spidey comes out on top and says, "Okay, we're going to find a way to heal these guys," and ask them basically, "Are they up for it?" And they're like, "Well, what choice do we have?
Right.
You'll send us back to die, or we could go with you."
Yeah.
And so, anyway, basically Peter put MJ in charge of the box, in custody of the box.
Yeah, hang on to this. Yeah.
Spidey and all the villains head
because
back.
at that point, Tom Holland Spider-Man is successful in trapping Doctor Strange in the mirror universe. So he's kind of trapped there while he's trapped there, Toby Mcguire, Spider-Man, Andrew, all the Spider-Men and all the villains then are trying to figure out how to fix it, basically.
So it starts off with Tom Holland and all the villains go back to Happy Hogan's apartment, condo, and
yes, Russ.
Yeah, he defeated Strange with Matt.
Okay,
yeah.
Did we see that box in What If? That's ringing a bell with me, Russ.
What
episode was it?
Anyway, go back to Happy's apartment. He has a fabricator in his apartment.
Thanks, Amy.
So they work on, they basically, Peter's trying to come up with a way to heal them all. And he starts with Doc-Ock, and he's like, okay, the issues that, this chip at the top, whenever he used it, it kind of fizzled out or whatever. And so they basically come up with a new chip, and they're successful in healing Otto Octavius. Let's see. You see the twins floating around while Spidey and Strange were playing around between the universes. I did not see that, actually.
There was a lot. There's a lot to see. I mean, there's a lot.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, when every time that especially like at the end there where Doctor Strange is about to close it back up again, all of those windows open behind him. It's really amazing, what you see and the characters that you see. Some of them are even in shadow, and you still know who they are. So it's pretty cool.
So. Anyway, Peter successfully heals Doc-Ock, and then Doc-Ock and Peter kind of work together trying to heal both Norman Osborn and also Electro. And so anyway, they put this device on Electro, which Electro's whole bit is this universe feels different. Like the power sources, the energy feels different here, and I like it. Yeah. And so he's kind of power hungry. And they put this like little outlet charger thing on him to basically suck the electricity, aside of what his body
to make him normal again, to make him human again. Yeah.
And so anyway, that's sitting there beeping, and then also they work on the cure for Norman Osborn, and that's when things take a turn, and Norman Osborn leads the charge saying, "We don't need to be fixed." And so that's when, everything,
south,
go south,
more south.
And, the lizard breaks out of the moving van that he was in. Sandman and, Electro both get out of there also. And then, Peter's fighting, also, Doc-Ock heads for the hills as well. But Peter gets in an incredibly physical fight with Green Goblin.
Yes.
So they literally tear the building down.
Yeah. And
anyway, the building's all falling apart and everything. Aunt May's trying to escape with something to heal the Green Goblin. And anyway, they end up at the bottom, and that's when we get the death scene plus, with great power comes great responsibility. Green Goblin ends up, killing Aunt May, and then Spider-Man gets attacked by some authorities, they start shooting at him and stuff, and Happy pulls up, and he's first to the scene, and it's tough because he knows what happened, but he gets taken into custody, and
Goblin kills her, Garrett.
So yeah, she gets hit by the glider, but also too there's a pumpkin bomb that goes off as well.
And Goblin intentionally does it.
Yeah,
he intentionally kills it.
So anyway, obviously Peter's at a bad place. You're seeing, and it cuts to MJ and Ned at Ned's at Ned's, what was it, grandma or mom's house? I can't remember. I guess it's Ned's house. I don't know.
It's Ned's house.
But anyway, the news the news basically says, it's been confirmed. There's been one death. And MJ's very tempted to push the button to reset things because they weren't sure what was going on with Peter. And so it's at this point, Ned's sitting there, and he has one of those little rings from Doctor Strange, like a little gold ring, like kind of.
Yeah, Ned discovers that he can open portals.
So
he
magic, and he can open portals, and so he's like, "Man, I really wish we could see Peter." And he kind of waves his hand nonchalantly.
Yeah, your sound has kind of done something weird, William. Is anybody else here? Your sound is like, it sounds like you're in a like a vacuum or something. It sounds like you're,
Let me grab my headphones real quick.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. Anyway, go ahead while you're doing it.
So anyway,
and all of a sudden, just kind of, it's like you're really far away or something now. It's funny.
But anyway, he figures out he's magic and can open portals, and they say, okay, we want to see Peter, and so you see a Spider-Man come through the alley, but you can tell even from a distance it's not Peter, the Peter that they know.
Right.
Shang-Chi Mandarin ring is what what he says. And so I appreciate it. But so the first Spider-Man we see come through the portal is Andrew Garfield, and it's funny because both of them are like, proof you're Spider-Man.
A sling ring. Okay, thanks, Russ.
Sling ring. Yeah, there you go. That's the terminology. Well, let me grab my headphone real quick.
It does sound like he shrunk. It's like Garrett said, it sounded like he shrunk like Ant-Man. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So then MJ want him to prove that he's Spider-Man. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Hold on.
Okay.
Is that any better?
It really didn't change. It's really odd. We can hear you. We can still hear you. Yeah. It just all of a sudden okay, wait.
Weird. Is that better?
Now you're back. Now it's good.
Okay, cool.
We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pam. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, Andrew Garfield comes through the portal, and they're like, "Hey, you're not Peter," and but he's obviously dressed as Spider-Man. But anyway, they want him to prove he's Spider-Man, and MJ says,
"Funny,
cling onto the wall." And he's like, "I'm not gonna do that." And then she throws some bread at him, like a roll at him, and he's like, "You don't have the tingle thing," and he's like, "Not for bread."
It's really fun. Yeah, it's really funny.
So really funny interaction. But anyway, trying to speed up a little bit because otherwise I'll be here for 3 hours. But anyway, basically, Andrew Garfield proves that he's Spider-Man. And they're like, okay, we're going to try this again to find Peter. And that's when Toby Mcguire Spider-Man comes through. And he's not in costume. He just looks like, quote unquote, a cool youth pastor.
A cool youth pastor.
Anyway, so both the Spider-Men kind of face off for just a second. Yeah. And then they kind of reach an accord quickly. But they still figure out, okay, you're Peter Parker, I'm Peter Parker. Where's your universe's Peter Parker? We feel like he needs our help.
Right.
And so they say, where do you need to go? is there a place he would go to kind of get away from things and clear his head? And one of them says the Chrysler Building in Empire State.
Yeah.
Yes, Ned's grandma is the best part of that scene, hands down.
Definitely.
It's very funny. But anyway, so they go and find Peter on the rooftop. It's still raining, and he's just torn up. That Aunt May has been killed by the Green Goblin. He's got a lot of sadness and a lot of hate also towards Green Goblin, and that's when Ned and MJ show up first, and then the other Spider-Men show up and kind of give their own accounts of the hard times that they dealt with, and they also convey their own loss as well.
The interaction between all of the three Spider-Men is really, really good. I think they have some funny dialogue. They have, but the camaraderie, they're able to build a camaraderie there that is just fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah. And Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man has a lot of the best lines. He's the one that says I love you guys. And apparently that was completely improv. And which explains why they both kind of look at him very confused. But also too, he said, "I always wanted brothers," which is a really neat quote.
Yeah.
As somebody who's got two brothers.
Welcome in, Dave.
Hey, welcome in, Adventures by D. But anyway, sorry, I'm writing you down here, Dave. So they kind of express their mutual feelings of grief, and they're like, "Hey, you don't, killing him is not going to do you any good. You're still going to have a lot of rage."
He's so angry because at the Green Goblin because he killed May, that he's trying to help them, and Green Goblin kills Aunt May, and that really throws him off track, obviously. Because he's lost his aunt and he's in the midst of trying to help these people return to being human so that they don't get killed, so they don't die.
So they get a second chance.
Very conflicted.
It's kind of the big theme of the movie.
Yeah. Very conflicted.
Yeah. That's super funny. So anyway, they're like, okay.
Hey, I'm sure, DC could use some help. Garrett, send it in as a suggestion. Put it in the suggestion box for DC.
Yeah. Tom Holland, Spider-Man, him and the other Spider-Man decide we need to save these guys. We need to cure them.
Oh yeah, I do too, Russ.
So those guys need to get to the box to get back to their own universes or destroy the box and stay in this one.
Right.
So they all have motivation for finding the box. And so Spider-Man gets together in a lab with the other two Spider-Men. Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker says, "Hey, I've already cured Dr. Connors once. I can do it again. No big deal."
Yeah.
You've got Toby Mcguire Spider-Man that says, "I've been thinking about a cure for Green Goblin for a long time now." Doc Ock has already been cured. And so they, and obviously Tom Holland already came up with something for Electro.
Thanks, Debbie.
Anyway, so they all get together and work on the cures, and they realize, hey, we're going to have to lure these guys to one place all at the same time to round them up so we can cure them. And where else to have an incredible fight scene than the Statue of Liberty, which in this movie is being worked on, which is kind of perfect because there's all the scaffolding, tons of stuff to swing off of. Yeah. It's being remodeled to add a Captain America shield to Lady Liberty's right hand, kind of upraised, raised up there. But so basically Peter kind of teases them. He calls into the Daily Bugle and says, "Hey, basically, here's where I'm at," and he said, "I wanted you to know I really tried to heal you." And so all the bad guys show up, and there's this awesome face-off between all of them. The Spider-Men, get together again. We in the lab scene, we see the meme where they all point at each other, and we see it again whenever they're planning for the fight. But just the dialogue between the three is so good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So what you have, I mean, to set this amazing scene, you have all of our Spider-Men fighting all of the villains at the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
It doesn't get more epic than that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Nick says, I laughed at the part when they told the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man he was amazing. So they're all they kind of chat between each other, like, like, hey, like, here's the type of villains that I've fought, like they're both like, oh, Toby Mcguire describes fighting Venom, that symbiote alien. And then Tom Holland's like, oh yeah, I fought, Thanos in space. And so I fought an alien. He's like, oh, they're both impressed. Oh, you went to space. And
I want to go to space.
Yeah. Andrew Garfield's character's like, I want to fight an alien.
Right. It's great.
So very, very funny dialogue between the three. It's top notch. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's the whole back cracking sequence that I talked about earlier in the show.
Yeah. And all of this, golly, all of this is crammed into this, scene, which is a long scene. But there's also earlier when they were all talking about, the having the pity party basically, and talking about all the things that they've gone through. Andrew Garfield, talks about not being able to save MJ.
Yeah. And
so in this scene at the Statue of Liberty, he gets his chance to save Tom Holland's MJ. And it's very touching. It's very touching.
Big time. Yeah. So Ned and MJ end up there by going through a portal. And so anyway, the scaffolding of course comes down. Doctor Strange shows up and realizes, oh man, like their plan's actually working. They're like, okay, here's the other Spider-Man. Like,
Nick Nolte was pretty bad too, Garrett.
That's funny.
Go ahead.
But they're working on curing all the bad guys. At first, very, they all work solo.
Cures. They have the cures. They just have to inject them or whatever.
So it starts off and they are not able to really come up with a coordinated effort. They're all used to fighting alone.
Right.
And so finally they all come back together like, this is not working. We got to work together. It's funny because they all refer to each other as Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3, since they're all Peter. And it's so funny too, because Tom Holland Spider-Man's like, I don't want to make a big deal out of this or anything, but I was an Avenger. Like I fought with the Avengers.
Right.
and they're both the other Spider-Man are like, that's great. What's that? So they don't have the Avengers in their universes, and it's so funny. And they're like, oh, you were in a band? Like, is that a band? Are you in a band? So super funny.
Oh my gosh!
But finally, they're like, okay, we all got to work together. Let's target one at a time, and it starts to work. It's all working. Doctor Strange shows up. It's like, wow, this is actually going to work. I dropped my pen. But Anyway, Electro, it gives them a hard time. And Doc Ock shows up and kind of goes to work on the Spider-Man and makes it seem like, he's fighting against them when really
Doc Ock, who has been cured at this point, fully cured, actually helps the Spider-Man with the other villains. So I totally love Doc Ock's character.
Yes,
I absolutely. So I'm really glad that he got as much play as he did, and I love the piece that he brings to this movie. I just love it. I love his character.
Agreed.
Alfred Molina is just perfect for that role, and he's very endearing. He was endearing in the first movie, in the Tobey Mcguire movie that he was in.
And so
you did, Garrett.
Anyway, it was super cool. To see Doc Ock join in on the fight. They end up baiting Electro, and they end up, healing him.
Oh, really?
And there's good dialogue between there's really good dialogue between the different heroes and their individual villains as well.
There is.
It's funny because Electro sits down with oh, man, I should have written all their names down. With Andrew Garfield, I've only said their names a million times, but there's 3 of them, and so I always have to think of which one.
It up.
Yeah,
I know. I'm glad that's not just me.
Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man drops in. He's like, "Oh man, you're from Brooklyn." He's like, "You help out, poor people and everything."
Oh no, Wong was in the movie, Garrett. Yeah, Wong's in this one.
He was.
He's in this one
early on,
He's actually Sorcerer. Just to further spoil it for you, he's Sorcerer Supreme now because Doctor Strange got blipped. So and he wasn't there. Wong is a Sorcerer Supreme instead of Doctor Strange. Right, Nick.
But anyway, there's a really funny dialogue between Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, and Electro, talking about, those darn eels. And, but he also says, you're from Brooklyn, or you're from the Bronx. You help, poor people and everything. He's like, I really thought you'd be black.
Yeah.
And he's like, Andrew Garfield's like, I'm sorry. And
I forgot. Totally forgot about that.
The funny quote is that he says, "Oh, don't worry about it. There's got to be a black Spider-Man out there somewhere." Yeah. Obviously there's Miles Morales.
Yes. Yes.
And so anyway, very, very cool. And that's, in Tom Holland's series, this is not the first time that there's been reference to Miles Morales potentially existing in the MCU, because there's an interaction between him and Tom Holland Spider-Man and Miles Morales' uncle, which was the childish Gambino, Donald Glover, where he webs his hand to the trunk and has that conversation. He talks about his nephew, and sure enough,
this is ringing a bell.
Yeah. So anyway, this is the second time at least that they've referenced that I can think of in Tom Holland's movies that they've referenced Miles Morales. So very, very cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was a neat moment. But lots of cool interactions. So I love
a ton of them.
People have done a great job like finding all the Easter eggs and stuff. Whenever Peter Parker and Toby Mcguire's Peter Parker comes through the screen, he kind of does this little wave here, and somebody has taken a screenshot from the other movies and him doing this kind of little wave. But the interaction between Doc-Ock and Toby Mcguire's Spider-Man tugged at my heartstrings again, just because I love Spider-Man 1 and 2 so much.
It did.
And so
they're so happy to see each other
when they meet each other. Yeah, he's like, "It's great to see you, Otto." Because you think about it, for his character, Doc-Ock died in the water with his machine, and so now he's back alive and he's cured.
Yeah,
anyway,
Otto Octavius again.
Yeah,
and they had a really close relationship.
They
before
did.
He went all
because
nuts.
Peter was in college studying under Dr. Connors.
Yeah.
And whenever they're introduced to each other, he says, Dr. Connors tells me a lot about you. He says, you're brilliant, but you're lazy, which obviously the reason he's lazy is because he's Spider-Man.
Right.
So he's juggling so much. But he tells him you're lazy. And Peter says, he said, I'll try to do better. And so whenever they meet, and he's cured, and they come face to face. He says, "Peter, it's good to see you, good to see you, boy. How are you doing?" He says, "I'm still trying to do better." And so, just a fantastic dialogue.
Just
tip of the cap.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But just lots of great moments and interaction and everything. And of course, Green Goblin's got to come through.
And they go by. this is one I'm going to look forward to having this on Disney Plus at some point because.
Well, we won't ever get it on Disney Plus unless they make a deal with Sony.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So you'll have to buy the DVD.
This is a Sony, which is fun,
and
I will. I definitely will. This again, guys. This movie is just absolutely wonderful. It brings together all three Spider-Men. It really repairs a lot of and I can hear myself because I can hear your earphones. It brings together and ties up a lot of the problems that I saw with the movies, with the Spider-Man movies. And it is so good. I would never have believed that they could do this good a job. Sometimes they surprise us, guys. Sometimes they do. One other time that they have really surprised me is with dare I go this, step outside the box, Star Trek. When they did Star Trek with Chris Pine and the new I was just, one of my best friends at the time, I was just complaining to him and saying, there's no way they can do this. We're both huge Trekkie fans, Trekkers. And I said, there's no way they can do this. This is going to be horrible. I'm going to hate this. And he went to see it before I'm talking about Rob. And he went to see it before I did. And he said, oh my gosh, Dawn, he said, we're getting out of school early. Let's all go to the theater and see it together. And we were letting out of school early that day. We both worked in the school district. So that one surprised me that they did such a good job. Sometimes they just blow us away. This is one of those times. This movie is one of those times.
So, they're fighting all the bad guys. The scaffolding comes down. Doc Ock is the last uncured bad guy, of course. Right. And there's obviously that's the one that, that's the bad guy that Peter has the beef with.
That's Green Goblin.
Tom Holland's Peter.
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin. Oh, sorry, my bad. Green Goblin. We got multiple Spider-Man and multiple villains. It's all just running together. Yeah. But so Green Goblin is the one that Tom Holland Spider-Man has the issue with. So they come together, they face off, and there's a lot of rage from Peter. It's a pretty good little fight sequence. Yeah. And he starts to get the upper hand on the Goblin.
Oh, there you go.
And the other two Spider-Men are kind of watching and kind of looking at each other kind of knowingly, like he's got to sort this out.
Yeah, they know he's going to have a tough one with Green Goblin. Green Goblin, again, tip of the ears
Willem
to
Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. Green Goblin, you just absolutely hate Green Goblin. He is just so maniacal and twisted, and he's just killed Aunt May, and all of us hate him at that point. We know that
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland Spider-Man is going to have a hard time with Green Goblin because they've cured everybody else. Green Goblin is the last one, and Tom Holland just wants to kill him. Yeah, I mean he's it's a pretty violent fight. And then finally, Peter goes and Willem Dafoe's character almost gets the same treatment, the same death that he gets in Toby Mcguire's. That's true.
Granted, it wouldn't have been self-inflicted this time,
right?
But he almost dies via glider blade again. And anyway, he goes to lift the glider, and Tom Holland's Spider-Man picks up the glider and is ready to go and end it with Green Goblin, and Toby Maguire's Spider-Man intervenes and stands in between the two and holds it and just looks at him. Mm-hmm. I don't even think he says anything, but just the nonverbal look saying, "Don't do this.
Don't do it. You don't want to do this."
It's not and he's already said, I killed the man. The man that that killed Uncle Ben ended up dying, and it didn't bring me any closure. Yeah. And so anyway, as they're standing there looking eye to eye, that's when Green Goblin stabs Toby Mcguire's Spider-Man in the back, and to which I was like, they cannot do this to me. You cannot do this to me. To quote the Green Goblin, do you know how much I sacrificed? But anyway,
it's true.
I was like, they can't do this to me. So anyway, he falls down.
Just stop it! I can't stand it if they kill off my Toby Mcguire.
And so they Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man ends up throwing the cure to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and he jabs it into Norman Osborn's neck and cures him.
We need to talk about that, okay?
Yeah.
Let's try to make that happen. We've been talking about this. We need to make it happen. Go ahead, William.
So finally, we get the Goblin cured. Everybody's cured, and now it's time. This whole time, Doctor Strange is up there, kind of trying to seal up the timelines.
Yeah, Doctor Strange
and fix things.
Doctor Strange,
like the sky's like ripping open
Monte,
and everything. Yeah. And there's some silhouettes. Again, I want the DVD so I can pause it because there's different silhouettes.
Oh, yeah.
One of them looked like they're holding a spear.
Thanos. Yeah, you can see there because all of these different like in the sky is like ripping into and opening all these different timelines and multiverses. And Doctor Strange has told them, he actually gives Toby Mcguire time to say goodbye to MJ and Ned.
Tom Holland. Yeah.
Or Tom Holland. Sorry, we were just really messing it up on the Spider-Man. And he says, I can only hold this for so long because, but he gives him time because he knows that when he does this, that Ned and MJ are not going to remember him at all. They're not going to know him. So, Tom Holland's Spider-Man says, okay, this is how we got to fix this. Then, okay, I've gone. Nobody at the end of it, nobody that knows him is going to remember him. He will be
not even Doctor Strange.
Right. Not Doctor Strange. Not even Doctor Strange. That's tough. That scene, where he says goodbye to Doctor Strange because nobody is going to remember him. Tom Holland's Spider-Man makes that sacrifice and says, if this is what we got to do to fix it, this is what we have to do. So, okay. Oh, thanks.
Sorry for those on the East Coast. We're running late, so sorry. Russ. So the one that drew my eye was Kraven the Hunter because I saw somebody holding a spear. Russ said, so Black Cat is supposedly one of the characters in the sky, as well as Madam Web, Rhino, Kraven the Hunter, and several others. Mm-hmm. So notable Spider-Man villains and characters. Jonathan Chong, the Sinister Six might still show together. I could believe it. But anyway,
thanks.
So Doctor Strange patches things up. The Spider-Men are able to say goodbye. There's a very emotional goodbye between MJ and Peter, and they say, hey, basically, he just ensures MJ and Ned, like, hey, I'll come find you. I'll explain it all.
I'll come find you. Right. I'll come find you and tell you, so, yeah.
And so anyway, Doctor Strange, does his thing. Spider-Man leaves. The other Spider-Men and their villains are sent back to their timelines. They all just kind of disappear. And next thing we know, Peter's headed to, there's even a bit of an emotional goodbye between Peter and Doctor Strange as well.
Yes.
Because of all that they've been through together. So anyway, we forgot to mention earlier. Yeah, actually we talked about it, but Matt Murdock was Peter's lawyer. We mentioned that earlier in the show. So I was very excited to see Charlie Cox reprise the role of Daredevil in the MCU. Because that was great. Effectively, they said, the Netflix movie, shows are not really going to be incorporated into the overall MCU, really. Mm-hmm. But they ended up, Daredevil was so good they tied it in. So big shout out to,
definitely.
Big shout out to Marvel. for that.
Definitely. Yeah.
But,
catch Daredevil on Netflix if you haven't.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
Jumping back ahead again. Sorry, I had to rewind there because Russ mentioned that. So yeah, we also get Dion Frio. What is his first name?
Who?
The Kingpin.
Kingpin. I don't know.
Vincent D'Onofrio. So he'll reprise his role as the Kingpin, which has been confirmed also.
Oh,
so
cool. Hey.
Pumped up about that because he is excellent. Anyway, so everything gets reset. Peter, it picks up. He's going to go and reintroduce himself to MJ at the diner she works at. And
the reset happens.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
Or at the bakery she works at.
Yeah. And it's all, everything is set back. The Spider-Men say goodbye and they go back, they kind of fade into their own universes. Everything is reset and nobody in the world knows Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So he has now promised Ned and MJ that he will find them and reintroduce himself and reacquaint. So he goes to the
donut shop
coffee shop where MJ works and he's practicing.
And Ned's also
lines.
there.
And
Ned walks in.
Yeah, and this is the same shop that they met when they were all rejected by MIT. And so he's written it out, like he's made a note and he's kind of practicing his lines because he's really nervous. I'm Peter Parker, blah blah blah. And he has a plan when he walks in, and he sees that they have both been accepted to MIT.
Yeah, and how excited they are.
Happy, they're excited, and he really he has this awkward conversation with MJ, and he just loves her so much, and he hates to step in again into her world where
both of them he calls an audible and decides they're better off without me ruining their worlds and so he I mean it's the worst. I mean it is a tough life for MCU Peter Parker.
I mean, what are you talking about?
He's talking about Venom. I haven't seen Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. I haven't seen that yet, Garrett.
Okay, I haven't seen Venom 1. I was told just don't worry about it because it wasn't very good, but I'm gonna have to watch it anyway. I'm gonna go back and watch all the Spider-Man movies again, so I may watch that one.
So anyway, he calls an audible. Also, we see him at Aunt May's graveside, and Happy's there, and he asks Happy, Happy's like, how'd you know her? And he says, through Spider-Man. He's kind of anxious about the answer, but he says through Spider-Man. He's like, yeah, me too, and asks the question, whenever, he says, I had another friend pass away recently, it makes you wonder after they're gone, whether or not everything they stood for, it still matters. And to which Peter Parker responds, "Yes, it still matters. They're still here. It lives on." But anyway, so we cut to it, and Spider-Man is moving into his own apartment. Don't be late on rent, which made me the whole rent thing reminded me of Toby Mcguire Spider-Man and dealings with the landlord.
Yeah,
were always funny. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean,
I caught that, Russ.
He's lost every relationship he has in his life outside of himself.
Right.
We see him. He's got the GED book that Jillian mentions. He can't go back to high school. He's still got the little Emperor Palpatine Lego figure that from Ned, where they built the Death Star together. He still has things from his past, and he's on an island. I mean, it's he decides that people are better off not not knowing him or being associated with him, and so he isolates himself. He finally stitches together his own costume also. We see the sewing machine and we see him go out and kind of sport it. I wish we'd have gotten a better look at it. It looks very, very much like your standard classic Spider-Man outfit. But I would have liked to have seen a good still shot of it, kind of an epic still shot like we get from Toby Mcguire, where he's at the top of the Empire State Building with the giant American flag, and that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, that's kind of roll the credits. But halfway through the credits, so there's a halfway through the credits scene, and then there's an end credit scene. So the end credit scene is actually the trailer for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So we get Wanda and Doctor Strange, and I won't get into that too deep. But midway through the credits, we see Eddie Brock in Mexico. So Eddie Brock has not been pulled into Toby Mcguire. So he's Venom. He has not been pulled into Tom Holland's Spider-Man's universe up to this point. So we see him get pulled in. He's talking to the bartender, and it's like, so there's this purple guy that like made people disappear, and so he's trying to understand, like, where am I? You're like, what happened? And anyway, about the time he starts to kind of put it all together, he gets sucked back out of that universe. But there's a little smidge of the Venom, the symbiote, that lands on the table. So that's a big tease for Venom. We could see Flash Thompson Venom. I don't know if they'll go that route or what they'll do with Venom, but there's a good chance that Venom is in. I mean, he is absolutely, the symbiote is in Tom Holland's Spidey universe now. So that's kind of the big thing. It's cool that he gets that cameo in this film. I need to watch Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. Anyway, all in all, loved the movie. The way that they're able to bring them all together, and the chemistry, it all works. Everything they tried to do works.
It does.
It's
a home run. It's a total home run. They swung for the fences, and I was hoping this was going to be great. The MCU, by and large, has not let me down up to this point. There's still some movies I need to watch. I need to watch Shang-Chi. Need to watch Eternals. I'm behind. I still need to finish What If. Like, there's a lot of I still need to finish the Hawkeye series. So there's a lot of Marvel content I need to consume. But up to this point, they haven't really let me down. But it was wonderful to see all three Spider-Men swinging around together and working together, and to see the scene where they all land was just, it was the coolest. I got goosebumps the first and second time I saw the movie. It's great. And so for them to redeem, Tobey Maguire's series into the Spider-Man 3 on a rough note. Andrew Garfield only got 2 movies, ended on a rough note. So they redeemed, and both those characters were able to end on a high note. So I couldn't have been more pleased with this movie. Well, you do have a lot. Shang-Chi, I was talking with Adam, obviously, about this earlier, and there's a ton of stuff that Adam hasn't seen yet. So Shang-Chi, I'm real anxious for you to watch Shang-Chi. I'm also really anxious because I want us to talk about it, for you to finish What If. I want to see what you think about What If. Awkwafina is, I like Awkwafina in Shang-Chi. I really do. But I loved her as Sisu in
Ryan the Last
Dragon. I absolutely loved her. So to see her as a person, not just a voice, in Shang-Chi was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's again total home run for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did about as good a job with this movie as they've done with any of the movies in the MCU. It's fantastic.
I agree, Pam. Pam said there's so much to watch and so little time. Yes, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had a blast with this movie. The action's solid, the storytelling works. The dialogue between characters is great. Couldn't have been more thrilled. You know, there's nothing they could have done, I don't think.
Yeah.
To have to have made this movie as good as they made it, and which I mean, the box office speaks for itself on it also, because I think it's made like the 6th most box office sales of all time now. I'm not sure what they're up to, but it's a lot.
Yeah, it's number 6, I think.
Yeah.
It's let's see. Let me go here. I made a couple of numbers, a couple of notes. Yeah, it's number 6 at this point in box office sales of all time, which is, think about that, guys. I mean, oh my goodness, that's huge. This character was originally written and edited by Stan Lee, illustrated by Steve Ditko in August of 1962, which means that this August will be Spider-Man's 60th birthday. So that's kind of cool.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So 1.69 billion, 6 on the all-time global chart. Insane.
Yeah, and that's not even, guys. That's not even the entire Chinese, market. And these movies are huge in the Chinese market. So this Adam and I were talking about this. He did a lot of research for his research paper, which he wrote yesterday, and it was one reason I really wanted him to come on, but he hasn't been feeling real well, and he's not sure about coming on the stream. And I said, it's just, me and William talking basically.
Yeah.
But, maybe I can convince him to come on, because his input, guys, would be fantastic. Adam, my youngest son, has a head full of knowledge on Spider-Man, because he is such a Spider-Man fan. He always has been. Spider-Man's always been Adam's favorite. And so he loved this movie just like we did. So couldn't say enough about it. And of course, we could talk for hours about it. He has a lot of good insights. But at any rate, again, we appreciate you guys tuning in. And, we loved it. Go see it if you haven't seen it. Get back to us. Let us know what you think. Don't forget to vote in our poll. What's our poll look like?
Yeah.
My phone
let me
died,
double check.
So I can't check.
So it's a 50% on Toby Mcguire. So we have Toby Mcguire's at 50% and Tom Holland's at 50%. So
wow. Okay.
So 0 votes for Andrew Garfield. I guess Jillian hasn't voted. Well, she might have voted for Tom Holland, but so 50% for Toby Mcguire, 50% for Tom Holland, and 0% for all 3.
If you haven't voted in our poll, guys, by all means.
I need to go in on my phone, and I'm going to vote all 3 to break the tie.
Go ahead and vote the poll. I voted Toby Mcguire, followed closely by.
There we go. I just broke the tie. Well, actually, I didn't break the tie, because I voted in a different option, so there's still 47% for both Toby Mcguire and Tom Holland. So I did not break the tie. In fact,
okay. So I need to.
I don't know what I was thinking there. I didn't think that through all the way through, but.
Yeah.
But anyway, just
vote, guys. Vote, and while we're signing off here, be sure and vote if you haven't. And we may put one on the community tab.
Yeah, there you go.
Loved it. Does anybody
I did
know?
lose.
And by the way, guys, does anybody know if Gonzo is doing his watch party for The Mandalorian, which is dropping episode 4
5.
at 2 o'clock? 5? Oh, 5.
5.
Oh,
yep.
5. Yes.
So,
we're Yeah. 5.
So yeah, let us
at
know
2:00.
if you're a mod
Yeah.
and you have that link. Drop that for us if you don't mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be talking about Chapter 4, Book of Boba Fett on Thursday, 12 o'clock p.m. Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. Throw together a sandwich or grab a meal and talk a little bit of Book of Boba Fett with us on Thursday if you can make it. We're having a lot of fun covering it. This series is picking up some steam. So
it is.
Chapter 4.
Yeah, which we'll be covering on Thursday.
Right on cue, because I think there's 7 chapters that are going to be in this season of Book of Boba Fett. So right on cue, they're starting to pick up steam with the show. So very, very excited about it. I'm looking forward to talking about it. Let's see here.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. What else do we have?
You said Hitchhiker highlight. You hear, Mom. We'll go ahead and jump ahead to that.
Yeah, let's do that. This is going to be, guys, this is a piece, and I hadn't even talked with you about this week. This is a piece that I thought we would just add. Hitchhiker highlight is going to be something that we recommend. It could cool. Every week on the show. It could be something on Disney Plus. Could be anything that we've seen that's our favorite thing from the week. Could be a piece of news. Hitchhiker highlight tonight. I highly recommend going on Disney Plus under the National Geographic tab, and I highly recommend watching Betty White Goes Wild on Disney Plus. It was filmed in 2012, and it features Betty White at 3 different California zoos: the LA Zoo, the San Diego Zoo, and the San Diego Safari Park. And she covers all of their big cats. Guys, it's wonderful. I think it's about an hour. Might be a little bit longer than an hour. It's absolutely wonderful. Betty White was 91 at the time of the filming, but it's on Disney Plus. It's called Betty White Goes Wild. It is delightful. So that's our Hitchhiker highlight for tonight, and my recommendation. Betty White. We're all still mourning the loss of Betty White, and this is a really great way to see her at her best. It is absolutely delightful. And the big cats, the information that she gives us on the big cats, get up close and personal. She had, backstage passes with all these zoos. She was such an animal advocate. Go watch it. It's very good. So, yeah, there are only 2 more episodes. There's only 7 episodes in this season, Russ, thank you for dropping that link, Jonathan, of the Book of Boba Fett. Thanks so much for Russ and Jonathan for dropping that watch party link. 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock a.m. Just in a few hours. I may take a nap and then come back. I have some stuff to do around the house, so I may pull a graveyard shift tonight and then watch and do the watch party. I didn't do it last week. But so Gonzo's live at 2 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Central.
So we'll make sure to watch it. Like I said, we'll be talking about last week's episode on Thursday, 12 o'clock p.m. Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. Fett Fever is our show. There's a new short on the channel, Resistance Commander Bone. My mom was sent on a mission last week to reveal some Star Wars retro mystery pins. So check that out. Check that short out if you hadn't already. Mom had some fun with it. See which pins that she pulls from the box. Jillian will be going live on February 12th for What's Brewing with the Bones. She'll give you her best tips on budgeting for your next Disney trip. That'll be at 8:30 a.m. Central, 9:30 Eastern. Let's see here. Check out theliveplace.com. Yes, you're safe, Stacy.
Come on back.
That's funny. Theliveplace.com. Big shout out to Dean of The Live Place. Check out Dean's YouTube channel, Dreamers Empire. Shout out to Dean for maintaining theliveplace.com, which is a website. It's basically a TV guide for family-friendly content live streams. So check them out. Check out Monarch Moments. Been in the chat. Lots of wonderful channels in the chat tonight. So any that you haven't already checked out, check them out. give them a look. Wonderful, wonderful people, a part of our community.
And all
so,
family friendly live streams.
Yes.
All family friendly channels. So y'all check them out. Yeah.
Let's see. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. I was fired up about tonight's subject. But big shout out to hashtag Team Replay. Lisa, Keith, and Joey. It's Joey's World are always great about letting us know. Let us know in the chat if you watch on the replay. Leave us a comment and let us know that you watched so we can thank you. But we love the interaction. Anybody that's hanging out in ghost mode.
Thanks for hanging with us.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
And also too, check out TubeBuddy if you're a YouTube creator and want to grow your channel. Check out TubeBuddy. It's free, but you can upgrade to a paid version as well, and it's cheaper if you have under 1,000 subs. But it gives you suggestible keywords for titles and tags. And it tracks channel data.
I doubt that.
That's helpful to you in growing your channel. So check it out. If you have any questions on it, reach out to us on Instagram or email us. Thanks, Nate. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate that. Check out Stickermule if you haven't. If you're looking for good quality, low cost promotional items or just stuff to print out, check out Stickermule. We've got buttons and pins, or buttons and magnets and stickers that we've all gotten printed off to promote our channel. And if you decide you want to check out Stickermule and get something like that made for yourself, use our link in the description below, and we'll both get $10 credit for a future order. And if you use our link for TubeBuddy, we both get a free month. So check it out. I remember, if you haven't rung the bell already, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you get notifications when we go live or drop a new video. Check us out. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or you can reach out to us at the Hitchhiking Bones at the Hitchhiking Bones at gmail.com. Remember, if you could dream it, you can do it. We go live every Tuesday night at 9:00 p.m. Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. Same spider time, same spider place. Let's see here. So one more thing, one closing remark that I wanted to make for Spider-Man, a potential sign of things to come. Potential. So I have one quick theory to share here at the end of the stream. So if you've hung around this long, here's my conspiracy theory. We know that a Spider-Man still exists in their universe. That Happy said, I knew Aunt May through Spider-Man. He doesn't say who Spider-Man was. But everybody knows that a Spider-Man exists, and we see Peter stitch the outfit, and everything, and he's got the Spider-Man costume. But I'm wondering, just because people don't know that Peter Parker's Spider-Man anymore. What if he unintentionally turned Miles Morales or a Gwen Stacy character that we haven't been introduced to yet?
Wow!
Accidentally turned their world upside down.
Probably not,
No.
Stacy.
So
No,
anyway, it's
you're good, Stacy.
But anyway, that's my conspiracy theory. Is that if they are looking to bring either one of those characters in, they could easily segue. Bringing those characters into the MCU by using that what happens in No Way Home.
That's true.
So,
and I hadn't thought of that, William.
Yeah, that's one that I've been sitting on for a while now, and haven't really fleshed out entirely. I need to talk it over with Adam. Still haven't talked to Adam at length about this movie, so need to talk to Adam about it.
And again, guys, if I can coax Adam on, we may talk about this a little bit more, because I really think it deserves it, and because Adam brings a lot to the table. He's a really sharp kid. He catches things. Obviously, we all bring something different. And so just another
Russ, we'll get live action Spider Ham.
Right.
That's funny.
I would love
goodness
that,
gracious.
Russ. Oh my gosh, I would totally love that Spider Pig.
So for more Spider Ham, Spider Pig content, check out into Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Is a really fun movie.
Yeah.
For if you can't get enough of multiple Spider-Men, check out Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's a really good movie. Anyway, did all of our announcements and everything. Anything else you want to say in closing?
I can't think of anything. I just I'm really, really pleased with this movie. It just wraps up, so many holes and so many complaints that I had. William's been listening to me complain about Spider-Man for these past how many years. And again, all is forgiven.
Yeah.
All is forgiven.
I don't use this term very often, but for me, it was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
In recent memory, I described The Mandalorian as being a masterpiece. Spider-Man No Way Home is also a masterpiece as well.
It is.
So just the way that they're able to redeem kind of the franchise and previous franchises as well. It's amazing.
They did.
Which is an appropriate way to describe it.
They did.
Anyway, Anything else you want to say before we
guys,
sign off?
if you haven't watched my little a Resistance Commander Bone short pin opening mission to the Resistance base, by all means go watch that. I'm getting some really good views on it, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it. And Resistance Commander Bone may make another appearance because she got some good views on it.
Yeah.
It's a short that's on the channel. Just kind of a fun, I decided to give my pen unboxing a little different, a little more exciting tack, and it was fun. So I'm probably gonna do that.
Anyway, I think that's all I've got. Also, too, hey, again, for if you're doing the multiple Spider-Man thing, there's Spidey and His Amazing Friends. Wyatt's 3. If you have if you've got any grandkids or your nieces or nephews that are around that age, I would say probably anywhere up to 5-ish or so.
I did.
It's a fun little show. So if you're looking to get your little ones into Spider-Man early, give Spidey and His Amazing Friends a look on Disney Plus.
Pam said Spider-Man Into the Barnyard.
That's funny.
Okay, Pam. Oh my gosh, Pam. Pam may take the trophy tonight.
Funny.
Yeah, you guys have been
all right. I think that's all we've got. Appreciate y'all hanging around. Again, another late stream for us. Apologize for that, but appreciate everybody that hung around to the end.
For Team Replay. If you've hung in this long on Team Replay, we really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks again so much.
Yeah, Texas Takes.
Texas
Ed
Takes.
and Heather.
And Heather for my popcorn bucket. Totally not necessary,
so cool.
Guys. I was more than happy to help. Always am. To be your Ned in the chair.
Yeah, guy in the chair.
Guy in the chair. I'm always happy to do that. So if you need me, call on me again. But this popcorn bucket is just so thoughtful, and I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Big thank you. And also to the Mickey Bunch for our belated Christmas card.
Thanks, Ann.
For
Thanks,
which
Debbie.
she wrote "Happy New Year" on the back of the envelope. So
neat.
Yeah. So thanks, guys. We love you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Susan and Joy. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Sling some webs. I guess we better sign off before I start singing the Spider-Man theme song,
which is really good, by the way. The original. Yeah, we could.
It's a good one.
You could sing us out.
Right. But anyway, let's see here. Sorry. I remember at the Hitchhiking Bones YouTube channel, there's always room for one more. So please hurry back. Oh man, I forgot to shout everybody out. I'm sorry. I have to call it audible because I had to run through.
Go.
I almost messed up. Anyway, we'll have to do that again. So that was a good practice. But anyway, big shout out to Aunt Susan, Aunt Joy, Jillian, Kylie, and other family members. BDF, Keith, thanks for being here. Kevin Theme Park Adventure, Captain Akron 27, What in the World with Russ, Disinfinity, Stacey Rogers, Movie Mania Nick, Dean the Turkey Lexter, Dad Builds, Jonathan Chung, Tina DCS, AJC Magic TV, Debbie Birdfield, Texas Takes, Diz Our Dream, Mike Wheeler, Pam's Fam, Arlene of Adventures with VP, Monarch Moments, Jane in Travels, Elena K808, Aloha Elena, Annie Coog 86, Space Mountain Dave Cantrell, and Adventures by D. There we go. Yes, making up for the week you missed. There we go. So yeah, exactly. we're resetting our timeline there, Stacey. So if I missed you, I apologize, but make sure and let me know so I can thank you properly for being here, hanging out with us. Mike. So many other things you could be doing on a Tuesday night, but we're grateful and blessed to have you join us. Whether you're watching on the replay, whether you're watching in ghost mode, or if you're hanging out with us in the chat. Lots of wonderful points made in the chat by everybody tonight as well. Mm-hmm. Had a blast as always. Look forward to Tuesday night each and every week. Anyway, here we go again. Anything else you want to say, Mom?
Join us for Fit Fever. Grab some lunch. Thursday, Fit Fever. We're going to talk about Chapter 4, which is where things really get interesting on that episode. And it's at 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern, Walt Disney World time. So, thanks, guys. We love you.
Yes, remember the Hitchhiking Bones YouTube channel, there is always room for one more. So please... Hurry back. Bye, everybody.
Thanks again, Ted and Heather. Love you guys. Appreciate it. Bye.
Spider-Man.